Hi, this is Alan Melly of Our American Travel. So glad you came along today. Um, we are going to show you a little day trip to Hot Springs that we made while we were at Lake DeGray over Memorial Day weekend. Hope you enjoy.
Over Memorial Day weekend, we took a short day trip to Hot Springs National Park. I have a personal history with Hot Springs. My mom spent part of her childhood there. She moved to Hot Springs when she was 11 years old, and until she was married when she left. My grandfather was a pastor at Second Baptist Church in Hot Springs, Arkansas, starting in 1947. He retired and then went back in 1977. We only had a few hours, so we decided to spend all of our time in downtown Hot Springs. That's where Hot Springs National Park is. This is, according to what I've read and heard, the only national park that's within a city. It's a really beautiful area. There's a lot of really great things to do in Hot Springs, but this is kind of a unique place to visit. So I would take time to go through. You just start out on Central Avenue and walk all the way down. So we're going to take that little tour for you and kind of show you some of the highlights. There is amazing dining in this area, some really, really great restaurants. There's also amazing history. In the 1930s and 40s, there was a huge mob presence, including Al Capone, where they had a lot of illegal casinos. And you can see there's a gangster museum, and there's some of the original buildings that you can visit that have history from that time period, and we all found it pretty interesting. So in this part of the video, you can see we are we're getting really close. We've just started Central Avenue, and this is the visitor center. There's a lot of information in there. It's not the National Park Center, but it can give you some information, but they were pretty crowded, so we did not stay very long. One thing that's interesting about Hot Springs is there are 47 thermal springs in the city, and so people will go and just fill up their water bottles at several places within the city. So you'll see people doing that. You can do that yourself, and it contains minerals, it has a lot of health benefits. And Hot Springs has 8 bathhouses. There used to be more, but right now there are 8, and they're not all bathhouses now, but this was a resort city where people would come to take these thermal baths in the thermal springs, and they were supposed to have very nice medicinal qualities. The first bathhouse that you will see when you come down the road on Central Avenue is the Lamar. It was built in 1923. You cannot take baths there. It has a really nice gift shop downstairs, and then it also has the National Park Resource Management offices. It has archives, museum storage, and a resource library. The next house that you will come is the Buckstaff, and that was built in 1912, and that's the only bathhouse that's operated continuously for over a century. And if you are wanting to take a bath there, it gives you a more traditional experience of what it was like in the 40s, 50s when people would come to take a bath. After that, you're going to come to the Ozark Bathhouse, which was built in 1922. And right now, it's the Hot Springs National Park Cultural Center. And it's not open. It wasn't open the day we were there. It's only open limited hours. It does have an art gallery, which it displays art of the park's Artist in Residence program. We were not able to go inside that one. After the Ozark Bathhouse, you'll find the Quapaw Bathhouse, which is built in 1922. This kind of gives you a more modern bath experience. They've got 4 different thermal pools you can go sit in. You can also have take the bath in the bathtub. They have a modern day spa where you can get massages, pedicures, manicures. They have hairstylists there. I do want to tell you, due to COVID restrictions, you have to have an appointment. You can't just walk in and just get it done. And they are limited in the number of people that they can take at a time. After the Quapaw Bathhouse is the Fordyce. And that's the National Parks Visitor Center. And right now they are also at limited capacity. So we didn't go in. There was a huge line. You do have to wear a mask when you go in. There's signs everywhere that says masks aren't required for people who've been vaccinated, but we didn't even get to the front door. We've been in the office before, so we just walked by. But that's the National Park office. And then the last, no, it's not the last one. Next you will come to the Maurice. And it is vacant right now. There's nothing in it as far as I can tell. I did some research on the National Park website and couldn't find anything on that one. After that is the Hale Bathhouse, and it was built in 1892. And it is a hotel. It's called the Hotel Hale. It has 9 individual suites. Each one of them has its own personal bathtub that brings in the mineral water from the springs. And then lastly is the Superior Bathhouse. It was built in 1916. But now it is a microbrewery, and it's the only brewery in a national park, United States National Park, and it's the only brewery in the world that uses thermal spring water to make their beer. We didn't stop there because we were just kind of walking to see the whole thing, but I've heard it's a pretty interesting experience to go in and try the different beers. Next is the Arlington Hotel, and this is at the end of Central Avenue. This is a spectacular building. It's huge. It has an amazing amount of history. I think it's worth a visit into the lobby to just kind of see what it looks like. My husband and I stayed there for one of our anniversaries, and we ate at the restaurant. They've got a very nice restaurant. It was probably the first restaurant we'd ever eaten in where ties were required. They also have a very, very large, it's not a whirlpool, but it's like a whirlpool, but it's huge, where they bring in the bath water from the hot springs, or not the bath water, the mineral water from the hot springs. And it's a really cool experience. It's got a lot of history, a lot of well-known celebrities, presidents have stayed there. It's just a really cool place. Al Capone used to rent a whole floor to keep his workers there, and he could look out of his window to kind of see the gambling operation. Now, I'd never really been past the Arlington walking before. This is the first time we had gone this far, but we were hungry and we were looking for a place to eat, so we continued to walk and found this really amazing Mexican restaurant called Rolandos. And I highly recommend it. It's really, really good. They have a website if you want to look it up, and we can put the link below. But if you go to Rolandos, you need to make sure you sit on the patio. We didn't know anything about the patio, but it was such a gorgeous day. We decided, well, let's eat outside. They have live music when we were there, but you can't really see, but it is like up against a mountain. Like it's rock right there. It's like it's been carved out of a rock. It's beautiful. And it was just, I've never eaten in a place like that before. It was just the experience was really amazing, and the food was some of the best Mexican food I've ever had. And if you are a gourmet foodie and you are looking for a really good dining experience, I would recommend this for Mexican food. Another thing we went to after we left Rolandos, we visited the Fat Bottom Girls cupcake place. They were on Cupcake Wars in season 2 of Cupcake Wars, and they've got like over 100 different types of cupcakes there, and they're all delicious. And we tried 12 different kinds. We also visited the Mountain Valley Water. It's kind of like a museum. And you're like, what's Mountain Valley Water? But I found this interesting. Our son-in-law is a chef, and at his restaurant in Raleigh, North Carolina, they use Mountain Valley Water. So it's sold all over the country. It's known for its minerals and special properties, and it was a pretty interesting place. Lastly, we tried to go up to the Hot Springs Tower, but as you'll see in this video, it was it was the Saturday of Memorial Day weekend, and the town was packed. I've never seen it like that before, and there was no parking anywhere. It cost $10 to go in and to go up to the tower. It's 216 feet to the observation deck, and when you're up there, you're 1,256 feet above sea level. It's a really cool place, and we really wanted to go, but we couldn't even find a place to park. Lastly, at my parents' request, we picked up McClard's Barbecue. McClard's is a very famous barbecue restaurant. President Bill Clinton, it was one of his favorite places to go. In fact, my grandfather, when he was living there, saw Bill Clinton in there one time, and it was kind of an interesting story, but it's kind of political, so I won't tell it. My parents' favorite thing to get is a tamale slab, and it's 2 tamales, and then they cover it with barbecue and Fritos and beans and cheese, and we didn't eat it, but it looked amazing. We had the pork barbecue, and it was really, really good. There are other things to do in Hot Springs, as I said before, but I think anytime you go, you should take the time to walk down Central Avenue and kind of experience the old Hot Springs and what it was like. Hey, I hope you enjoyed our little video walk through downtown Hot Springs. We are trying to get ready for our first extended RV trip for longer than a week. We're planning on being on about 3 weeks, plus we were trying to get our house on the market, plus we are trying to fix it up. There's something else we're trying to do too, right?
Well, there's all kinds of things going on, and we're like going crazy.
We really are. We're going crazy. But we hope to be posting pictures along the way and videos of all the fun new places we're going to go. And we get to go see our grandson, which is the best thing.
So we hope you enjoy. As always, we'd love it if you would like and subscribe and share with your friends so that maybe more people can hear our story. And we'd love to get to meet some of you. We'll see you on down the road. What are you going to say, on the road?
On the road again. My brother asked if I would sing it, so I'm singing it. I can't wait to get on the road again. I can't wait to get on the road again.